Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished and honored guests. It's a pretty exciting time to be in Huawei, and it is a great honor to get to spend this day with you. Today's been a day about stories. We've heard stories from our customers about their experience and stories from longtime employees of Huawei about their experiences, and I'm gonna follow suit and share just a little story here as I welcome you to this lunch, and that is most recently I come to Huawei from a customer perspective. I most recently spent the last 7 years serving British Telecom as a global chief technology officer, and in that role, going back to 2002. Huawei wasn't quite the global juggernaut that it is today in terms of the brand awareness, in terms of the commercial success that's been built on hard work over these ensuing years since 2002. But if I go back to that time as a customer, we had begun at British Telecom a transformation. We called it the 21st Century Network. It was a 5-year investment program, $18 billion over the next 5 years to transform the networks and systems. And I had the honor to serve BT in those years as their CTO and to pick out the best and most innovative solutions for BT's needs into the next decade, because as we were going to place that $18 billion of investment, we needed to ensure that it was not just a innovation today, but that we could innovate with the technological and services partners over many years to come. So we started a really quite a grueling task. We broke down the network and systems into 5 different domains, and after some very significant effort, Huawei was selected in 2 of those 5 domains. Now, you've heard today the discussion about customer-centric innovation. And I want to tell you a little story about the first time that I visited Huawei in Shenzhen. I, of course, as a CTO of BT, had this question or that question, and the young men and women of the engineering services would go away and answer that question just almost immediately for me. They either knew the answer or got it very quickly. But then something different, something very unique, and in my 30-plus years in this industry, still unique today, happened. The staff of Huawei would ask me, well, Mr. Bross, why did you ask that question? Why was that important to you? What experiences did you have that made that come up as the key element to this technology choice? And what you learned was it's more than a slogan, this customer centricity. You learned that this young fledgling organization, circa 2002, was deeply interested in understanding the cognitive processes that led to the decisions that carriers were going to make. How do you solve the business issues? How do you get inside and address not just today, but tomorrow and the future? And this struck me out of all of the meetings I had been in over many years as a bellwether that Huawei, this Chinese company, was not going to be relegated to a fast follower, one who could produce high quality technology very quickly, but this company would innovate. This company would take the customer-centric insights gained through that earnest, inquisitive minds of their young men and women, and they would turn it into the future. It would become the future of telecom. And what you're seeing here today through the event over at the R&D Center on our 10th year anniversary, I think is Huawei at an inflection point. Huawei innovating the way we innovate, changing innovation in the organization at its essence. And you'll hear a little later from John Rose on just how that's happening, but you see the incredible success. It is built out of this focus in looking at customers' needs and then delivering on that. Now, mind you, in this circa 2002, when Huawei was selected by British Telecom, it was the first tier 1 carrier outside of China to have selected Huawei. And on that decision, there were significant challenges, both in the media, in the government, with security agencies, not dissimilar at all to what's taking place here, okay, in this market. But Huawei's focus on commercial success, Huawei's value delivered into the customers that we choose to serve, is what overcame those resistance in the UK. And on the heels of that decision, you had a number announced today or shared with you today that 90% of the world's top telecom operators now use Huawei. So this is a testimony to that customer-centric innovation and how in the local communities the fusion between the ability to innovate on shorter cycle times, to do it right the first time more often, and to do it in a way that it matters in the daily lives of the consumers that we touch or in the carrier networks that we're embedded in. Huawei leads the world. So if I say, how did I end up at Huawei, is after leaving BT and coming back to the US from a small farming community in outside of St. Louis, I was honored by a phone call to actually join Huawei. Mr. Ken Hu, who's the chairman of Huawei USA and a deputy chairman of the company, and I sat down and talked about how could we put something together whereby I have the honor to serve Huawei as the Global Chief Technology Officer today and as co-president with Mr. Ding here in the U.S. And that was an honor of unspeakable dimension for me, because here was this company that I had seen grow up over those ensuing years. And we're going to have a video here in a minute to share with you some more of the history and kind of enrich it. And I'm not going to go into the numbers and the statistics. They'll speak for themselves. But I wanted to share with each and every one of you that personal story where joining Huawei today and helping the men and women in this company learn from the successes of the past and pioneer the future. Huawei will see and usher in, over the next 10 years, probably nearly 5.5 billion people on the planet connected with mobile wireless broadband, in healthcare, education, in their financial services. It is going to really help lift the next billion people on a planetary basis into the global economy. And this is Huawei. And we're all here celebrating that. When I look beyond the 5.5 billion people, we're going to see tens of billions of devices become connected over the next decade. And we in Huawei will innovate that future. So I would wrap up my welcoming remarks by just sharing with you that the success of this company has been built on that customer-centric innovation coupled with the passion of its employees. Our employees are the window through which our customers see Huawei. And I think today, if you got to go on the tour, you caught a little bit of that passion, that innovation that is a wellspring out of the U.S. R&D organization. And as you get to know Huawei more deeply, you'll find that commitment and passion to innovation, to trustworthy and high-integrity relationships throughout the organization. With that, I think I would like to draw your attention to the not-so-small screens on the side, and please enjoy the video and your lunch. Again, heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you, and good day.